Hey everybody, it's John. Lake Erie Chestnuts. I'm getting ready to plant some seeds. We're in crazy times with COVID-19. Hope all of you are staying safe, not going crazy with the self-quarantining a lot of people are being asked to do. And the good thing is we have some things to grow and keep ourselves entertained so we don't go completely cabin crazy. So today I'm going to start, I've taken a different approach this year. This year I'm going to move to starting more of my trees outdoors in a nursery. I'm going to do that because it'll be easier to harden them off. They'll be hardened off already when they sprout. I do like that I can get a jump on the season by starting them under these lights, but there's a month-long plus process of getting my trees to harden off. The oaks harden off a little easier than the chestnuts, but the chestnuts absolutely sunburn and struggle if you put them out in the direct sun too quickly, and if you put them in a tube, they may die. So I'm moving more towards starting some of the oaks indoors, a few chestnuts indoors, with the understanding that if I sell them or if I take them outside, I'm going to have to harden them off. And I'm going to move more to a bare root sales strategy because it's easier to ship, and I think the trees are healthier. They're a full year. They will have been started outside, so probably only going to bare root only next spring with the exception of a few oaks. This spring I will sell a few trees. I have a couple hundred hybrid chestnuts that I'll be able to sell. A few oaks. I sold a lot of oaks last year, just freshly sprouted. They did very well, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to start growing some here. I'm going to use the cone containers again. I'm going to reuse some and then some brand new ones. These containers have 98 per setup, and so I'll have 196 trees that I'll get started here. Mostly oaks, a few chestnuts. The chestnuts don't like this 1.5 inches. They would like a bigger start, and so they would pretty rapidly fill that up, but I'll get those started. Get a lot of questions. What do I use for sprouting my seeds? I get a lot of different answers. If I was a professional grower, I'd probably make my own soil, sterilize it and so forth, but in my small operation, I've had very good luck with just Miracle-Gro potting mix, not soil. And if you have trouble, if you're a person that just can't handle not watering your plants more often and you're going to get more problems with dampening off, you can buy the blue bag. It's got moisture control, but I'm pretty good at, I always get a little bit of dampening off, but that's a complex reason. I think it comes with part of the seed or maybe the wintering over. I've just never had 100% no damping off, but I've had very good success with this dirt. So the amount of work it would take for me to make my own on a small scale, it's just not worth it. I'd rather buy some bags of this and grow my seeds. So Miracle-Gro potting mix works great for me. So I use hot water with just dish soap And then I just put a cap or two full of Clorox bleach in to help clean the pots, because I use them year after year. After I plant them out into their nursery site or wherever, then I wash these with a little bit of bleach. I think it does help. I don't know if it's mandatory, but if you're going to reuse pots to help cut down on disease carried over from year to year, it's probably a good strategy. It takes me a little bit of extra time that I really don't want to mess with, and I could probably just buy new pots and it would be a better use of my time, but if I can reuse them and not burn up more plastic, I'm not going to feel bad about that. I'm sure you feel the same way. I'm going to show you this one. This is Yikshan large seeds sent to me by Mr. James Nave. Look at the roots that have grown on this thing. This is in the refrigerator. Can you see that? It's even sending up its tree part. I mean, these things want to sprout. So they're going to go in the ground today. St. Patty's Day, March 17th. This seed is Louval's Monster. Look at this roots that have been grown on this sucker. These things are going to spring out of the ground. Again, Louval's Monster. This is Bouche de Bédazac, or that's how I pronounce it. Huge nut. Twice the size of the ones that I get from Dunstan's. You know, got European characteristics. Very, very beautiful nut. Hopefully that'll do well. I'll get it started and we'll see how it does with blight. So these are some seeds I bought from Chestnut Ridge of Pike County. I think the roots are growing good. Look at this. Now this is on a refrigerator that has a clear front door. It's a wine fridge. So it's actually sent up a couple tree side as opposed to just sending down the roots. So they're ready to go in the spots, so I'll plant a few of them up. I get a lot of questions, what do I do if this root is real long? There's no way that's gonna fit in a normal pot, and if I try to put it in there, it's gonna snap where this tree's coming out. So last year, just because I thought it would be fine, but I wanted to experiment with it, I just cut the root off short, and it does just fine. It doesn't seem to have any long-term effects. It does send this long taproot down, but it seems to send down plenty of root structure otherwise. So, you know, maybe it would be slightly healthier if you could plant it in its original spot, but where I'm at, the fact that I'm not going to be able to sit there and monitor that and keep it protected from rodents, there's no way I'm going to be able to protect the seed long enough. So I think I would lose more seeds and nuts and have to replant. I think the benefit is fine. I just take a pair of scissors or a pair of snips. Now it fits in. I can poke a little hole in. I can plant this in the soil and everything works out just fine. I'll just try to show that here without losing y'all. So I just take the pot, take a screwdriver or a pencil, clear out like a little hole going down quite a distance into there, and then I just put it down in there, gently press it. Now I didn't snap it off. This thing will green up. It'll grow great. So that's what I do with a taproot that's gone too long in the fridge. I'm planting these English white oak acorns. I don't know if you can see this. They put out a powerful root. Again, I do have to shorten these to plant here, but these will not all be planted into these containers. A lot of them will be directly planted, so I'll be able to compare their growth. But they seem to grow great. Started here as well. But that's a huge nut. I mean, that's 1.5 knuckles on me. I mean, that thing's 2 inches, inch and a half, 2 inches long, 3/4 inch thick. These are white oaks, English white oak. They grow, they produce very quickly. I have a friend that has grown them from seed, from the same source I obtained them from, and 7 years he produces nuts. Now I'm getting close to that with my trees. They're about, the tallest are about 14 foot tall, and so we'll see if it happens at my farm, and then we'll provide updates obviously as we're able to. But pretty good root structure for having started in just a bag of nuts sitting in the fridge. Good look at the tangled roots of these English white oaks. Many of these will be planted. I have several hundred other seeds that will be planted outside directly in the new nursery bed that I'm going to attempt this year. Hopefully I can keep it free of rodents eating all my nuts before they grow. So this is the PEX manifold that we have that runs part of the house. Got a few spider webs in it. It had a few blanks, and so what I did was borrowed a friend's PEX crimper and cramped a piece of PEX onto one of the extra outlets from the cold water side, and then ran that off down the side to a faucet. And that's how I solved my watering problem. Makes it very easy now. I just leave it on and then turn it off at the hose that's inside my plant growing area, which is directly on the other side. Now it's time to water it. Get rid of some air. Oh, that ain't good. I left this head out in the freezing weather without draining it, and I think it popped this thing off. Well, we've got some seeds planted. Got about 196 English white oak and maybe 30 or so different chestnuts, and get a little spring green going here. Try to change our mood here. It's kind of ugly right now with COVID-19 coronavirus out there. I'm definitely working on the front lines of that. Stay in place. Hopefully you have some seeds. If you don't have any seeds to start and you want to start a few, ask some friends, put a post on Facebook, see if anybody's got some seeds you can start, or maybe you can quick run into a grocery store that's selling some spring seeds. I hope everybody stays safe, healthy, and we can get on to the summer and start growing things and get back to our normal worries of life instead of the immediate infectious ones. Remember, if you're not growing, you're dying. Does that seem good to say now with the current problem? I'm gonna have to come up with a new saying. Remember, if you're growing something, a little bit of you is living. I don't know. We can try something different. I gotta come up with a new saying. It seemed clever before, but now it seems pretty bad. Anyway, hopefully you're having fun. Post some pictures, let us all see what you're doing.